Hold on.
All right.
We're preparing live stream. Give me 1 second. Okay. It's going. All right. Okay. We're good now. All right. So let me see. I think that is a little bit. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yes. All right.
Cool.
So let's introduce you. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here live on my YouTube channel. It's actually been pretty cool all of this entire week with all the rain we've gotten in New York, at least Schenectady, New York. I don't know about where Malik lives, but I think there's been
Sunshines and rainbows.
oh yeah, sunshine and rainbows. Yeah, this week has definitely been raining and everything like that. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in into this live. Um, we are going to be listening to the truth coming from Malik side, and just for you guys to find out a little bit more about him, and also for him to just share a few things when it comes to him either experiencing or going through some sort of racism, stereotype, or anything that's got to do with that manner. Again, I thank you. My name, a lot of you guys know me as either Miss Rosa or Latina Mommies or whatever it is. You know, I have too many names out there, but the most important thing is that I started this platform, one, to try to share the truth, whether it is under, you know, telling the truth about eating habits, how to do it, right? Educating people and young adults also what it is to live life, basically. So I've put myself out there and I've shared many experiences when it comes to my health, my diet, and just learning my education, self-education with life. I know that throughout this whole COVID-19, a lot of things have changed. And for me, I feel like I've been able to balance the work life and just staying at home. Obviously, we have to be at home. But staying home and finding new ways to do things, right? Because the old way is not here anymore. So I thank you guys for just tuning in and being here with us. I really much appreciate it. So again, our guest today is actually Malik, William Malik. I actually, he's a friend of mine. He recently became a dad, but I'll have him share a little bit more about that. But he's actually one of the people that I consider to be true friends, like a true friend, like no matter how long we've gone without even talking to each other, it's like we just talked yesterday. So I really appreciate his friendship, and I appreciate that he even is here to try to share what his experiences when it comes to racism. Now, a few things that I want to just, you know, start with. One, statistics, because I watched the 13 from Netflix, from the person that directed it and created it, and her name is Ava. And she stated that 97% of the people who are in jail never had a trial. So I'm going to start with that just because I know that we are going to talk about a few specifics and just relating our experiences with what is really going on in life and what is going on out there in the real world. So thank you again. And William, do I want to call you William or should I call you Malik? No,
Oh, please
Malik.
call me Malik. Malik, please.
Malik. So introduce yourself and just share a little bit about you, so that everybody gets to know you.
So like Rosa said, I just recently became a father. That's been great. That's been great experience. So I'm married.
Was it different because of the whole coronavirus? I mean, I don't know if you saw the
I have
difference
no
before,
idea.
but no,
I
you
have
don't know.
nothing to compare it to right now. First
But
child. So
were you able to be with your wife in the delivery room and everything?
every second.
Oh,
Every second.
wow.
So
Okay, because you see, this is the other thing.
yeah.
We've heard differences. We heard that people could not
Mhm.
be in the hospital if people got sick or anything like that. So that's why I was asking you. Even at
Yeah.
birth, like people who were pregnant, they were afraid that their significant other or their husband or wife could not be there. So
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just father. Married, living in Connecticut. Just living life, trying to survive.
Trying to
So
survive. You still have
just
your
trying to
job
survive.
too?
I do. Still in like a corporate environment. So um I like what I do. Um just yeah, I'm just here to share my story. That's all. Couple stories. Just a
Couple
couple.
stories. That's good.
So yeah.
Well, okay. So let me start with this.
Hmm.
I know that with us, me being 100% Latina, and being able to speak Spanish, and even though my skin is lighter, um, I haven't like dealt with somebody telling me the N word like straight up in my face. But
Hmm.
I know that there's people I've faced racism and the stereotype of being Latina, 100% Latina. You know what I mean? At work, and that for me was really, really like a struggling balance for me because I was like, wow, I do my job. I'm a really, really good worker. I'm good with everybody. How come I have somebody who is my boss picking at me? Why? What is it? And I
Hmm.
didn't get it until later because it was consistently happening. And then this is when, and even my son too, going through it a little bit, it made me realize that this is actually a bigger issue than what most people actually know about. Or
Hmm.
even with us growing up, we don't really get into it, right? We don't really talk about it. People around us don't talk about it. So go ahead, you want to share like a story or something?
Yeah. So to piggyback on what you're saying right now, like the N word. So I recently, I recently, thought about my use of it. And I completely stopped when my son was born. So I stopped,
Mm,
just using it like rap lyrics, songs, calling my friends it, I just, just based on what the history of the N word,
yeah.
um, so yeah, that's, and I heard, everybody use the N word. I heard white people, black people, Indians, Asians, Hispanics, they all use it. And just like when you research the N word and look it up, where it came from, even though white people don't say it like how they used to back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
we use it, and they are probably just probably just laughing at us for like calling each other just a word that was meant to like bring us down, and so I personally stopped using it. So
Well, and when you say that, we have to remember that maybe you and I grew up in an area or with our friends who we were not also educated
mhm.
on our own history, right? And I want to say our own history because I don't, like again, I go through the same thing and I know my son is black. So I want to say it's our history. We never learn our history in school. We never learn um, the part where they say, where did that N word come from and
Mm.
why we use it so comfortably, right? Are you there?
Yeah, broke up a little bit. You hear me?
Oh, okay.
All
Yes.
right, cool. All right.
I was saying how like we maybe when you grew up using that word with your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
You was not educated. Nobody told you to go and search the word and what it meant and why, or did you hear anything like before? Did you know but you guys just chose to use it or not?
Not to be honest, I was just following trends, That's all, I was just following trends. But
Yeah.
become a father, you gotta look at things a little differently now, Do I want my people calling my son the N-word, knowing that what it means, and no, you don't, especially from another race, just it just hits differently when it comes from somebody different from you.
Mm.
I remember this one time I was walking late at night. This is when I first moved up to Albany. So me and my friend, was walking in the streets, just casual night. Just I think it was walking to like the store or something. Truck drives by, and probably someone, there's a bunch of white people in it, and they scream out the N-word.
Oh
And yeah,
wow.
it was probably my first year living in Albany. So I went from like living in Brooklyn for 15 years, to living in Albany, and I just remember just like staring at that truck driving away, just like feeling some type of way about that, because I never experienced something like that living in the
Mm.
city.
How old were
So
you?
I was 15. I was
15.
15. Yeah, so it's just the way it happened, just it's just raw emotions. I just moved up to Albany, just trying to like figure things out, who I am, just and then this truck comes by, and then someone like, group of them yell out the N-word, and they start laughing, driving away. Is this what I'm gonna have to face for like the time being while living up here?
Mm.
That's just some questions you got to ask yourself.
Well, the
Um,
question in that is how comfortable people feel to do such things, right?
Nowadays, more
Um,
comfortable than usual. So,
and I don't even think it's nowadays. I think it's been there all the time. I think it's been
mm,
there since slavery started in this country, since
mm,
slavery started. I think it's just now that we have social media, now that we are more aware about it, and a
mm,
lot of events throughout history has happened to make us more aware about it. I
yep,
think that we understand, at least for me, I understand that this is not something that just is happening. This is not just
mm,
something that people are feeling comfortable with. I remember a few years ago, me and my boyfriend and my son, we actually were going to Lake George.
mm.
And um, that's mostly, white people
Yeah, yeah.
area.
It's a nice city.
And yeah, it's not bad, but we were trying to find a place to go and enjoy the water, clean water, right?
Yeah.
So we searched up this place we were going, but then our GPS took us to this wrong place, and there was like a
Mm,
bunch of like white people like near the water. And when we got out of the car, they looked at us like if we
mm,
were not supposed to be there.
yeah.
Nobody say, hey, you guys, how you guys doing? Is there
Mm,
anything that we can help you with? Like, are you guys looking for a place to go to? It was literally just like a stare, like, you all don't belong here.
yeah.
And for me, I was just like, okay, that was like so uncomfortable. But
Mm,
again, we're taught, we ourselves, you and I and other people like us, we're taught to just let it go,
mm,
right? Or we say, oh, you looked into it too much. Oh my gosh, you're so sensitive. Really?
mm.
That's what it is? It really is not that. It's actually deeper than that. But go ahead. Do you have another
Uh,
experience?
well, I'll give you an example on why people won't understand how we feel. So,
Mm.
just like how you say, when you walk into like, a predominantly white place, and, they all look at you, and you feel the look. You don't even have to look at them, but you can still feel the
Mm.
look. You could feel what they're probably thinking. You could, feel what this, they're saying under their breath when you walk in, whatever it is, we, like me and you, we understand that. Versus like, a white person, if they're walking down the street, right? See a group of guys, black guys, and how black people talk, aggressive, loud, they might
Yeah.
see some smoke going up in the air and something like that. Might get a little, scared for a little bit. So what do? They cross the street. See, I don't understand that because I don't have that problem. So I could, walk by a group of black people and not feel that way. But,
Mm.
and that's I guess that's the point of like the Black Lives Matter movement, is to understand our perspective on things. It's not
Oh,
saying that, your perspective is wrong. I'm just saying, like, just understand where we're coming from.
and
So,
when you say that, and
mhm,
thanks for saying that, because I think some people are taking this when we're saying Black Lives Matter, some people are taking it as if we don't care about white people or other race or other people. We're not saying that. That's not what it
mhm,
is. But at
mhm,
the end of the day, we cannot keep educating people.
mhm,
Look, and I've said this before in my other videos. I've said this. How is it that a girl like me, a woman like me now, came from a whole different country, was not educated, was I had alcoholic parents, was in the streets, came to America, had to learn English, had to go to school, learn everything and stuff like that. How is it that I know better than what some of these white people are saying that they don't know what's going on?
mhm.
How? Can you explain that? Do you have an answer to that? Or is it
It's
just pure ignorance? Because at the end of the day, I think for me, there's is pure ignorance. Because
well,
the same
mhm,
education that you have, the same resources that you have, I have it
mhm,
too.
yeah,
It's just a matter of whether you want to see it or you
yeah,
don't want to see it.
yeah. It's like I said, I don't know what it's like to live under a white person's skin. I would never know, never understand. Just like they have to accept the fact they don't know what it's like to live under a minority skin.
Mm,
So we're just here, like, that's the purpose of this movie. We just have to make each other understand. I hear what, the other side is saying, like, this is probably a waste of time, this is unnecessary, this is causing riots and all that, but at least we were finally like seeing racism come. It was never left, you know. You hear me?
no, can you say that again? Because you came in and out.
Okay. Okay. Hello?
You're frozen, actually. Okay, now you are.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard?
No, you was explaining why some people think that we're just all of this is just causing rioting.
Yeah. So at least we're still all right. So that I can understand why they're saying that, but at least we're starting the conversation now. And that conversation is leading to many things like, black on black crime and, like the statistics that are coming out. I'm not a big statistics guy. I'm just going by what I see, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever I experienced. So based on what these statistics is telling me, it doesn't really, I just know, like, every time I'm in like a store or something and then I see a cop around, I'm a little nervous now. I'm a little nervous more than usual. So I was
Oh,
in the
really?
I was in the pizza shop this afternoon and there was a cop in there. I think I stopped for a second and just like had to collect myself and just went about my business, order my pizza. But I can remember just like standing like not even 6 feet away from the man, and just feeling intimidated and scared. You know, just any wrong move, that could have been it.
Wow.
So
That's the fact that you even, and
mhm,
this is why we're doing this, because
mhm,
the way, some people might say, well, that doesn't happen to me. I'm black or I'm
mhm,
Latina. That hasn't
mhm,
happened to me. Or I'm
yeah,
white or I'm this. It doesn't matter. But your truth is not my truth. Your
mhm,
experiences are not my experiences. But I think that even by talking about it and saying something, like hearing you out, it makes you understand that not everybody has it the way they think they have it, comfortable. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that comfortability, I think only certain people have. And even if you have it, it's our job to still like stand up for what is right, and that is
mhm,
human rights. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Humanity, human rights. I don't think you should have to go to a pizza shop and feel intimidated by a police officer. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I don't think that should happen to you. But it's the truth, and it's the honest truth. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't really pay attention to things like that. Those little things. I mean, before I used to be afraid of the police every time we're driving, right? I see cops behind me. It's like, oh my gosh, like I just feel like a little bit like sweating. I'm like, okay, let me make sure that I'm going the right speed, make sure that I'm doing it, like I have my seatbelt on. Like I'm always thinking like that. But to be honest, even now though, I feel like I've built this resilience inside of me. And I say, as long as I'm doing the right thing, that police officer right there is just any other police, any other cop, any other car, any other person just passing by. Because that fear is the trauma. And you can start seeing the trauma that since you was little of or seeing it is causing you to feel like that.
Yeah, and that's like, I'm not trying to knock the police. I know there's great police out there, you know.
Nobody is.
Yeah, I have people in my family that were police officers and all that. It works for, you know, the you know. But just like I remember just holding my son the other day, and I'm trying to think of a way to, like, you know, preparing for this new world, you know, because I still don't really understand, you know. And I came up to like two questions: so how to handle police. Should I teach them to just, like, you know, be scared and try not to, you know, go against it, whatever they're saying, or just teach them to fight back, you know. But, you know, me being a father, I always want to protect my son. And I don't know how he's going to grow or how he's going to feel about it when he gets older, because, you know, we all have, you know, our experiences with cops. Like the first time I got pulled over, didn't even get a ticket. Cop pulled me over, he took my ID, went in the car, took about like 15, 20 minutes, came back, told me, take down your air freshener from the rear view mirror. And it just walked off.
Oh my gosh.
Best part was I remember getting home and seeing my father get livid over that. So that was the first time I got pulled over. And just keep in mind, I was driving a 96 Nissan Maxima. It was a beat up car. So, but, you know, that was my first time getting pulled over.
And how old were you when you?
No, I'm sorry. I was 18. 18. Yeah.
What did your dad say about it?
Yeah. Remember that scene from Boys in the Hood when Trey gets home and then he's talking to his girlfriend, he starts punching air?
Yes.
So something similar to that. Yeah. Something similar, not exactly, but something similar to that.
Okay, for people who don't know, explain that explanation, please, because I may know, but other people who are watching might not know.
Yeah, so this scene still gets to me. You know, he gets pulled over by, ironically, a black cop, and then this black cop proceeds to torture him. You know, start calling him the N-word, and, you know, just telling him pretty much like I like to pick on people like you. And then, you know, just, you know, arrested him and his friend, and then he came to the realization like what he was doing was wrong. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but eventually he stopped. So, you know, the character Trey goes home and then he sees his girlfriend, starts talking about it, and gets really upset, starts punching her, you know. And he didn't do anything wrong. Just didn't do anything wrong. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's and that's the, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, you know, because I also have my son, we both have sons, which is awesome, except your baby. Your baby was just born not too long ago. Yeah. Before me, when I think about my son, just the questions that you asked, like, how is it that I should prepare him, right? What I've noticed is that it's better for us to educate them and educate ourselves and tell the truth from the very, very beginning and be honest with them, because I think that then they can choose what they want to do with that truth that you share with them. You know what I mean? And I think that the more honest that I am with Jojo, he's able to also see it, so that whatever I'm sharing with him is not a close-minded type of thinking, but it's literally like open your eyes, like this is how it is. And for my son to even he had a conversation with me, and I was like, I'm always telling him, like, be proud of who you are, be proud of your skin color, be proud of, no, don't allow nobody to ever put you down. And then he says something and along like, wait, like in the words like, you know, the only thing that stinks right now is actually being black. He's afraid of being black.
Yeah.
and he expressed that to me, and I wasn't trying to, like, I wasn't expecting that from him because he's just 10 years old. But for me and even his dad, I know that we are trying to really educate him and actually read his own history. So I've gotten books and he's gotten books for him. And I always say, like, he read one of the books that talk about segregation, like a girl that was so happy to go and explore the city, and because she was black, she actually wanted to do it by herself. So she told her grandmother, I'm gonna go to the city, I'm gonna find, like, I'm gonna go to this see this artist or this person. And when she went to the city, she started noticing the segregation, you know, like, stay on your sidewalk, whites and blacks only, water fountain. And also when she got to the artist, you know, like the person that she was trying to see, they told her, a young girl, they told her that it was only for whites, only whites only concert. And it broke her heart. And also the word segregation, the word like the N-word too.
Yeah.
I told Jojo, write 5 new words and define them, you know. And he has a notebook and he defined them, and then he tells me about it. Like, I ask him about the book because I want him to, I don't want to always, because I don't know everything, I don't understand everything either. So I want him to read, I want him to look up, and I want him to, like, have that already, that work ethic to be able to do for himself, and not wait for somebody else to say, you're this or you're that. You know what I mean? You deserve this or you deserve that. That's just for me, my personal opinion of what I've done with my son. But that's a definitely tough situation. And I know that it's changed since you had your son. It's changed a lot of about how you think and about how you're doing things, you know?
Yeah, just basically how we all think. So, I mean, we've been taught racism since we were practically born, you know.
Yeah.
Embrace our culture, you know, everyone else's culture. I mean, I think if we stop talking about racism, we can end, which is impossible. It's really impossible. But the way I see it is like this: like, if we stop calling each other black and brown people or white people, and because, you know, if we all woke up tomorrow morning and everybody was white, will racism still exist? Or vice versa, you know, we all woke up tomorrow morning and everybody was black. I mean,
well, I think it's we're fighting evil versus good at the end of the day. I think that if you didn't know, but Khalif Browner is one of the new names that I've wrote down on my notebook. And you know, he was arrested for allegedly stealing a backpack. And that was in 2010 to 2013. He went to Rikers Island jail, and because he did not plead guilty, they waited for his trial, right? And so while he was waiting, he was in prison for 3 years. And in those 3 years, he was traumatized. He was fighting all the time, and they were wanting him to say yes to something that he didn't do.
Pled guilty to take 3 years.
Yeah, and for me, I was like, wow, how many more stories do we not know about? How many more people do we not know about? Because my biggest thing is not even about like sometimes like the way people are putting it is, oh, this is a big, you know, like you're making it a bigger deal than what it is. For me, I'm like, I'm just looking at this specific person. Let's say Khalif Browner now. He was arrested for something he didn't do. He went to jail for 3 years. And eventually that led to him committing suicide because of all the trauma that he had to go through. And he died when he was 22 years old.
Yeah, he hung himself.
Nobody should have to go through that. And
No.
this is, and the trauma I think is different. You understand? Like somebody who gets arrested, the trauma is totally different. And somebody who's going to jail and being in jail for something they've never done, the trauma is significant compared to the trauma of us living in society. The fact that somebody drove by and called you the N-word, the fact that a police officer just wanted to pull you over just because of your color of skin and then made up some stupid thing to try to say, just fix that, and then walked away. Or the fact that you go into the pizza shop is making you feel really uncomfortable even with a cop being there, when in reality, we should feel comfortable that a police officer is right next to us, right?
We should.
So I want to like,
We definitely should.
I just want everybody to understand that this doesn't have to be like this if we work together. We have to work together. We have to unify, and we have to also educate ourselves. Because if we wait for others to educate us, then we're not going to. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch the 13?
Yes, I did.
Netflix?
Yes, I
okay.
did.
What was her name? That lady that got arrested, and everybody knows her. She went in with her afro.
Oh, Angela.
Yes, she's
Davis.
an activist, Angela Davis, right?
Angela, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let me give you that example. I love her example. You know why? Because she did not let others dictate her future. She did not let others take her away or make her go away. She actually fought the system by educating herself and using what the system has put in place against them. That's all she did. To me, I'm like, that's so inspiring. If it doesn't inspire you, I don't know. I was like, oh my gosh, like I love her. Like that's what I'm trying to do. There's where my education, I'm trying to be like that. But I feel like self-educating and unifying together, I think that's the best thing that we can do. And I think we need to stop this whole trauma thing, because you don't want your son to grow up and be traumatized either.
Yeah. I mean, I think if everybody just teaches, their children going forward, because, I think it's kind of too late for our generation. But if we should teach our children going forward to love every race, human being, it'll do some damage in the future, great damage,
It's not even love. It's not even love every race. I want to say have respect for humanity, for a human being. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's not even color. It shouldn't be about color. It shouldn't be about race. It should just be about the decency and respect of a human life. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think people have forgotten that. You know what I mean? I think that the whole part of I'm superior than you because you have a better job than me or a better position than me, that doesn't make sense. Where did that come from, right? Greediness.
I think just everybody needs to learn to agree to disagree. We're all going to have our own opinions, on beliefs, on way of life. It's you just have to all learn how to agree to disagree on things.
Agree to
disagree. I mean, if we have a difference on opinions, we're not going to stop talking.
For sure.
What we're going to do, we're going to talk it out. I'm going to understand your side. You're going to understand my side. Boom. All right. I respect your opinion. We'll move on. Next topic.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with our society right now is people are posted their opinions all over the place now, and people are getting are lined up to shut down somebody else's opinion. I mean, you don't know where they came from, why they feel that way. Instead of hearing them out, you try to curse them out. So and I think that needs to stop. I think we need to all have we need to just sit down and listen to everybody instead of just trying to shoot down the messenger, or it's yeah.
Yeah.
So
What are you? Does your wife have any opinion about this too, or has it affected her in any way?
if it hasn't, she's gonna have to worry about this someday. So
Yeah.
um, I mean, I can only imagine it's tough raising a young boy.
Yeah.
You know, my son is half Hispanic and half black, so he's gonna, he's gonna experience all of that. And my job as a parent is to teach him to be smart. You know,
Yeah. And you're
so
pretty smart, so
I
you're
try.
already
I
you're pretty
try.
smart. But if you guys don't know, actually, Willie Malik is actually an artist himself.
Yes.
He,
Yeah.
if you guys go to your his Instagram, what's your Instagram name?
It's William Malik, just
William
like that.
Malik. William
Yep.
Malik. Okay, with a K, not a Q. With a
Not a
K.
Q, no,
Uh
with a
huh.
K. Yes.
William Malik. Yep. You guys are able to see his talent and, you know, his art. And I think that you also take, that's part of your business too, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So
Do you take like orders? Like, how do you do it?
yeah, I take orders. People contact me. I draw. Simple as that.
So
But also like to,
you
yeah.
guys can
Sorry.
contact Malik through Instagram and
Mm-hmm.
see if you like his art. And I think that you can talk to him to see how you guys can support him. Is a black entrepreneur too,
Mm-hmm.
artist, and I think you're good. That he's really really good. So if he wasn't good, I wouldn't even say
I'm
go
okay.
and yeah, but you got talent, and I think that it's very important to share even your talent with others, because
Mm-hmm.
your talent, you could help a younger person from from with you, like
Yeah.
somebody's looking up to you, and you're setting an example of what it is to, I don't know, to go out there and reach for your dreams of what it is that
Mm-hmm.
you want to do. um, so that's something good for you to do, and I think a lot of us are very skilled in something. Like you're definitely skilled in your drawings, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
totally skilled in something different that you might not be. um, I don't know that yet, but maybe in sports, basketball,
Yeah, you
basketball,
was pretty good at ball. Yeah.
basketball. I can beat you. Anybody wants to like go one on one, I can take you guys.
It's true. It's true. I've
um,
seen it. Yeah.
you see,
I
he
see. I see. Yeah.
agrees. He agrees. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I just want to share that you're not just a black man. You have a family, you're a human being, you have a talent, and you have an education, and your life is worth living. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to share that too, because I'm like, it's important to share that with people and show more love and kindness to others
Yeah.
versus looking at them and be like, ew, look at what, why is he like that? Why? Because we're so judgmental too. We need to stop judging like that, right?
I know. I know.
What do you think?
I know. So, um,
Yeah. But so
I
one
mean, they
thing that
just
you're doing,
yeah. Mhm.
go ahead. One thing that you're doing to that you're taking action. I know you say you stop using the N word
Yeah.
because you research it and you understand where it comes from and what it was used for. What else
Yeah.
is it that you might be doing to help support um, Black Lives Matter?
I just have to set an example at this point.
Mm,
You know, it's not easy being a black father. The statistics show, and I'm not a big fan of statistics, but I truly believe in this one statistic that an absent father in a child's life, could
mm,
seriously, seriously affect the child. So,
yeah,
um, and that's something I think Black America should address.
yeah,
We duck and dodge that, topic a lot, and I seriously think we should, start addressing that. I turned
right.
out great. Both of my parents were involved in my life, so I am fortunate, and I can't even emphasize that enough. But yeah, we have to start teaching our sons and daughters, how the world works and how to, just maneuver your way around these things because, it's constantly changing. We have to constantly educate ourselves on what's changing in the world and,
Yeah,
yeah, just that's,
and you, and like you said, fathers matter.
yeah,
Black fathers matter. I know a lot of kids that I work with. I know that their father is not around,
yeah,
and to me that hurts my heart, because I'm like, even with my son, like, I know his father and I are not together, but I
mhm,
always encourage my son to be with his dad, and I always encourage that relationship for him to be with his dad. Anytime you want to go with your dad, papi, vete con tu papá. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Because your
yeah,
dad is gonna teach you something I can't teach you. your,
mhm,
your dad is going to set an example for you to also see what is it that later on in life you will choose to do, and things that you don't want to do. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
I think us as women, as mom, we're here to also nurture and protect.
mhm,
But I know that the toughness and all of that comes from the dad, and there's something special about the relationship with having, with a son or a daughter with his dad, or dad. I know I grew up without a dad, so that has always been.
breaking up.
Are you there? Can you hear me now?
You hear me? You're
Can you
breaking
hear
up,
me?
breaking
Yes.
up.
Okay. So I say
Yeah,
even
okay,
my
all right, good.
I say even myself growing up without a dad, I miss that. You know what I mean? And there's something
Yeah,
special about having that relationship with my dad that I didn't really have the time to have, but I know that my son has it, and I'm really
mhm,
proud for that. And I think that you'll be a great dad. So always be there. Always work hard for your relationship, and always being there for your kids. That's number one
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share?
Um, I mean, there's just so many things we could do. Talk on.
What would you encourage people to watch the 13? Why? On Netflix.
I encourage them to watch it because I'm sick and tired of media.
Mm,
I'm sick and tired of media because both sides are trying to sway, people on their side, and this. I honestly believe that politicians are not in our best interest. I think
mm.
people need to start, you know, forming their own opinions instead of hearing others. I think people need to start, looking at history, um, like going back and reading about, the specifics, of history and why are we in this position right now is not because what the media is telling us. We need to, go back and know our history. So, um, yeah, that's the reason why
And
they should watch the
understand.
13. Yes, and
Yeah.
understand how we got to this point regardless
Mm-hmm.
of you believe if there's systemic racism or not. I highly suggest anybody to like just watch the 13th and just watch it. It's a
That's it.
good it's a good documentary.
And
So
it's very educational. I
it
think
is
that it goes
it
for
is.
both sides, whether you're in the middle of, you don't know which side to go to. um what's it
Mm-hmm.
called, then oh my
Sorry.
gosh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Hi,
sorry.
baby.
How
Oh
you
my
doing?
gosh. This is like a special event. This is like a special event right now. Oh my
I'm sorry.
gosh.
Daddy
Oh,
duties don't stop. I'm
oh
sorry.
my
I'm
gosh. No,
sorry.
you're fine. You're fine. This is
So
awesome.
I'm
But
sorry.
yes, so
Mm-hmm.
each
Yeah.
side, the
Mm-hmm.
13, watching the 13 is actually very educational. I think it will help many people, or wherever side you are in. It's up to you to really go in there and educate yourself on it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you for being here and sharing a little bit about yourself and your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations with the
Thank you so much.
baby. He's so cute. That was like a
Thank you.
special scene, you guys,
There
because
you go.
he is. Oh my gosh. Let me see
Sorry.
him.
There you go.
Oh
Yeah.
my
He's good
gosh.
now, but
Can he call me Auntie Rosa?
that's fine. That's fine. Just gotta get them gifts, you know. You gotta get them gifts.
I know, that's true. That's true. That's awesome.
So
But thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for
No,
being
thank
here,
you.
and
Thank you
have
for
a good
having me.
night, everybody. So I appreciate it. And we'll go to the next one too. So thank you. And thank you for everybody that tuned in. And I hope you learned something today. And remember, together we can make a difference. Self-educating, we can make a difference ourselves, so that for our future, for our children, so that they can live in a better world and a better place. So that's what we're doing. Okay.
All right.
Okay, bye you guys.
All right.
Bye.